Perhaps you're using an older Canon DSLR, like the 77D, and you're thinking of upgrading. Maybe you've heard about Canon's legendary autofocus and you want to switch from a different brand. Or maybe you've watched my Canon R5 review and you've decided that you don't need all of its specs. If you're considering Canon's first mirrorless full-frame camera, the Canon EOS R, in this video I'm going to go over who should buy it and who shouldn't. By the way, as a quick note, the B-roll of the Canon EOS R has been shot with the Canon R5, but I'll include some photos and videos taken with the EOS R throughout the video. The R5 footage was shot in 1080p at 120 frames a second with Canon logged active, and the footage was later rendered in 4K. I explain later in this video why the video itself is 4K despite the footage being 1080p. As always, let's start with the size and build. The Canon EOS R measures 136 by 98 by 84 mm and weighs 660 grams with battery and SD card. In terms of ergonomics, the camera feels great in the hand and the body feels well built. As a quick note, the camera is not small, especially once you get some RF glass on there. Once you do get the camera in your hands, the first thing you're going to notice is the MFN bar, which some might liken to the MacBook Touch bar. Unfortunately, I ended up using the MFN bar as much as I use a touch bar on my MacBook, which is never. The bar can be customized though to either act as two buttons or as a swipeable control surface. In terms of image quality, the EOS R offers the same sensor that you get in the 2016 EOS 5D Mark IV, and you get 30 megapixels. You don't get any in-body image stabilization, so even with a stabilized RF lens, it can be difficult to get stabilized handheld footage. A workaround for this is to shoot everything in slow motion, which is what I do, but this is not practical in all scenarios. For example, when I shot the footage for my Canon R5 review on the EOS R, it was all shot handheld at 60 fps with a 15 to 35mm RF lens, which is stabilized. I then slowed it down in Premiere to 40%, which brought the footage to 24 frames a second, but I quickly realized that it wasn't quite enough. I then decided to slow it down to 20% of its original speed, which is 12 frames a second, and I used optical flow in Premiere to fill in the missing frames so that the footage still looked fluid. The results were satisfactory, though you sometimes get some glitches from optical flow, especially when text is on screen. This can work when shooting B-roll, especially if you move the camera slowly like I do, but I am well aware that this would not work for everyone. Now, you can use digital stabilization in camera, but it's not worth it. Once you turn on the digital IS, it'll be baked into the footage. The advantage of shooting without is that you can tinker more with it in Premiere later, and as technology advances, you'll get better stabilization in the future. In terms of video modes, this camera does 4K at 30 fps, but with a 1.8 times crop. Dual pixel AF is available when shooting 4K, which is great, but the 1.8 times crop still applies, which makes it difficult to shoot wide-angle footage. At least the autofocus performs well in low light, and you get great eye detection. In terms of 1080p, you can shoot at 60 fps. Even though some might turn their nose at 1080p, this video was shot in 1080p and then rendered in 4K. I'll go into a bit more detail about this in a little while. As a last note in regards to the video modes, you can also shoot in 720p at 120 frames a second, and this may not be as useless as you might think. Under the right lighting conditions, with the right settings, you will be able to pass it as 1080p no problem. As I mentioned earlier, this video was shot in 1080p and rendered in 4K. The reason is that if you render it as such, YouTube compression will allow more of the 1080 detail to show through, as opposed to just rendering in 1080p. Given that you probably didn't realize this is actually 1080p you're looking at, people may not realize they're looking at 720p. Matti Hapuya made a video on the topic, showcasing footage and asking you to try and guess which was shot in 4K, 1080p or 720p. In terms of lenses, the EOS R uses RF lenses, though you can use other lenses with an adapter. According to Canon, the reason for the shift to the RF mount is that it allows a greater bandwidth for data when the body communicates with the lens, thus achieving more intelligent image stabilization. RF glass is truly amazing, and I personally own the 15-35 f2.8 L ISUSM and the 85mm f1.2 L USM. When I had the EOS R, I only owned the 15-35, so here are some photos taken with it. By the way, if you're finding this video to be helpful, don't forget to leave a like, as it will help with the algorithm, and other people will be able to find this video as well. And now, back to the video. At the back of the camera, you will find a 3.2-inch fully articulated screen, which is great for shooting at odd angles. The screen is also sensitive to touch, which allows you to more intuitively control the camera, especially if you're new to Canon. When it comes to storage, the EOS R has only one SD card slot. This is okay if you're an amateur shooter or if losing data isn't the end of the world, but otherwise you might want to look at a camera with 2 card slots. The R's bigger brother, the R5, has 2 slots. I've reviewed that camera recently on my channel, and I've included a link to it down below. As a quick side note, if you want to shoot 4K in all eye quality, your SD card needs to have a minimum write speed of 60 megabytes a second. The EOS R uses the LP E6N lithium-ion battery. You can use older non-N LP E6 batteries, but you won't get as much battery life, and you'll lose the ability to charge them in camera. On average, the battery allows you to take 370 shots before the battery is depleted, which is not particularly impressive, but you tend to get better battery life when shooting video. Charging via USB works, though you need to buy a charger from Canon separately. When it comes to longevity, the EOS R does have environmental sealing, but it's not waterproof, dustproof, etc. It is sealed to the same degree as the 6D Mark II, but given that details can be foggy in regards to just how sealed the camera is, I prefer to not get mine wet if I can help it. In conclusion, should you buy the Canon EOS R? Because of the lack of dual card slots, it's hard to recommend this camera for professional uses. If you're a small YouTuber, then it's probably fine, as losing footage won't necessarily cost you your reputation. In terms of video, the 4K 1.8x crop is rather severe and might limit you. If you're a mid-level enthusiast and you're upgrading from an older Canon DSLR but don't want to spend the ridiculous amount of money that the R5 costs, the R might be a good middle ground for you. If, on the other hand, you do shoot professionally and you're paid to deliver, I would indeed look at the R's big brother, the Canon R5. I've reviewed this camera on my channel, link in description. Do you have any questions? Don't forget to leave them down below and I'll do my best to get back to you. If you'd like to have a look at any of the products mentioned in this video, or you would like to know how much they cost in your country, you can find affiliate links down below. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe and hit that bell, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.